Hello students, today we are going to see the second video of our chapter Force and Pressure. In this video we are going to discuss about the types of forces, then pressure exerted by liquids and gases, and atmospheric pressure. So we have discussed already in the previous video what is force. Force is nothing but a push or pull. And force can be divided mainly into two categories. One is contact force and non-contact force. By the name itself, I think you can guess. Contact force means when the surface of the objects comes in contact with each other. When two objects come in contact with each other, then the force applied will be called as contact force. For example, muscular force. In muscular force, the force from our muscles are utilized. For example, if you have to lift some heavy weight, if let's say you want to lift a bucket of water, for lifting the bucket full of water, you have to use the muscle of your arm, the biceps, triceps, forearm. These muscles you have to use, and these muscles apply force to pick up or lift the bucket of water. So here muscular force are being applied. Where it is being applied? It is being applied on the bucket of water which we are lifting, and your hands and bucket are in contact, right? So to apply muscular force, contact of our muscle and the object is essential. That is why it is an example of contact force. Next is friction or frictional force. Friction is a force which always acts in opposite direction to our motion. For example, if I am walking in this way, then the friction applied will be in its opposite direction. Here, let's understand with the help of this diagram. If this is the surface of the road or the ground, and I have this very heavy box, and I have to push this box towards this side. Then this is the direction of the force. This way I am applying force. In this direction, force is being applied. Then what will happen? The friction will be applied in its opposite direction. In this direction, friction will be applied. That is why while pushing something, you have to apply force to overcome this friction. So if the motion is in this direction, friction will be applied in this direction. For friction also, the surface of the ground and the surface of the object have to be in contact with each other, then only frictional force is applied. Next is non-contact force. Non-contact force, for example, magnetic force. Magnetic force is the force which is applied by the magnets. Magnets have two poles, North Pole and South Pole, as we already know. Now, these magnets can attract some objects which are known as magnetic objects or magnetic substances, and they have no effect on certain objects, and they are known as non-magnetic objects or non-magnetic substances. So if you take a magnet, and we know that magnet can attract iron nails. So iron nail is a magnetic object. If you take a magnet and put some iron nails here, and just bring the magnet near the nails. Don't touch them. Don't bring them in contact with each other. Just bring it near, and you will see that the nails will get attracted to the magnet without even touching. It is pulling the nails towards it. Or you can take two magnets. If you will bring them near, even if they are not in contact with each other, you will see that either they will attract towards each other and they will be pulled towards each other, or they will repel. That means they will push each other away. So here, before coming in contact with each other, force is applied. So here no contact is there while the force is being applied. So it is an example of non-contact force. Next is electrostatic force. Electrostatic force is the force which is applied by a charged object on another charged or uncharged object. Here, how can we understand this? You take few pieces of paper, small pieces of paper you take, and then take a plastic comb, or you can take a balloon, inflated balloon also, rub it against your hair. After rubbing it against your hair, bring the comb or the balloon near the pieces of paper. Don't bring them in contact. Don't touch them with each other. You just bring it near, and when it is nearby, you will see that the plastic pieces will start to move and they will get attracted towards the comb or the balloon. Here also, to apply force, the contact is not required. So it is another example of non-contact force. Next is gravitational force. Gravitational force is the force which is applied by one object towards the other, and each and every object applies this gravitational force. Even human body also have some gravitational force in them, but its unit is amount is very small. That is why quantity is very small. That is why we don't feel it. But you see, if I have this marker in my hands, if I'll just leave it, then what will happen? It will fall down. This pulling force, the earth pulls all the object towards its surface, towards its center. Towards the earth, everything is pulled. This force is known as gravitational force or simply gravity. The sun also pulls the planets, or the earth pulls the moon. Each and every of these examples are nothing but gravitational force. The sun applies gravitational force on each of the planets, so they are attracted towards the sun and do not go away or run away or fly away from the sun. Like that, the earth attracts the moon. The moon, that is why, orbits around the earth and do not fly away into the space. An apple, you take apple, then or paper, stone, anything, if you will just release it from the height, it will ultimately go downwards because it is being pulled by the gravitational force applied by the earth on that object. So for that also, now the ground and this marker are not in contact with each other, but even if they are not in contact with each other, if I release it, it will go downwards. So gravitational force is another example of non-contact force. Next is pressure. What is pressure? The force acting on a unit area is known as pressure. That means unit area, if I'll take in an area, how much force is being applied is termed as pressure. Area may be small, area may be large, and how much force I'm applying on that area is known as pressure. Pressure can be expressed in the unit Pascal. The unit of pressure is Pascal. Now let me tell you a very easy way to remember the formula or how to find out the value of force, pressure and the area on which the force or pressure is being applied. You can make this triangle. F stands for force, A stands for area and P stands for pressure. Now if you have to find the value of pressure, pressure is equal to force divided by area. Here you see pressure is equal to force divided by area. Then if you have to find out the value of area, area is equal to force divided by pressure. Area is equal to force divided by pressure. Or if you have to find the value of force, for that area multiplied by pressure. force is equal to area multiplied by pressure. So with the help of this diagram or this triangle, you can easily remember the formula for force, area as well as pressure. Here you have to pay attention. If you have to put a nail on your wall, what we do? A nail have two ends. One is pointed and another one is a blunt end. Which one we put on the wall and hammer it? Of course, we always put the pointed end on the wall and we hammer on the blunt surface. Why we do like this? Because here you see, pressure and area are inversely proportional. Inversely proportional means if area increases, pressure will decrease, and vice versa. If area decreases, pressure will increase. That means the blunt side have more area in contact comparison to pointed tip. If the pointed tip is put on the wall, the area in contact is very small. That is why if we will hammer it with the same force, pressure will be more because area is less. Less the area, more will be the pressure. But if we will turn it around and put the blunt surface on the wall and try to hit it, what will happen? In this case, even though we are applying the same force, the area in contact has increased. For that area increases, we will have less pressure on the point and we will have to put more force to put the nail in the wall. I hope you have understood this. All these formulas you keep in mind, and this inversely proportional. If area increases, pressure decreases, and if area decreases, pressure increases. You remember this. Next topic, let's see. Pressure exerted by liquids and gases. Up until now, whatever we have discussed, we have talked about the solid things, how they apply force towards each other. But we have to remember that liquids and gases also exert pressure. You see, you take a container, a plastic bottle you can take, water bottle you take, then if you will put a hole in it, what will happen? You see, if this is a plastic bottle filled with water, if you will put a hole here, you will see that water will start coming out of it. That means water applies force on its sides. If the water apply force on its sides, that is why when there is a hole and opening, it is coming out of the hole. If you will put a hole here, you will see from here also water will come out, but a little farther away. And like that, if you will put a hole here, you will see it is falling even far away. What do we understand from this? We understand that more the depth, more the pressure. More the depth, more is the pressure. If the pressure was same, don't you think that wherever we will make the hole, the water should flow in the same distance? As the pressure at the bottom is more, that is why the water is being, we can say, being squirted out with more pressure, so it is going farther away. So you remember, gas and liquid both applies force, and they apply force sideways also, downward also and sideways also, and the pressure, more the depth, more the pressure. As you will go deep under, the pressure will increase, say both in the case of liquid as well as gas. In the case of air also, same thing happens. So let's see atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is the pressure exerted by air around us. Whatever the air we have around here, around us, or you have air around you, it exerts pressure on us. If you exert pressure on a piece of paper, it gets crumbled. But why doesn't our body get crumbled? That is because the pressure which we exert, the pressure which is exerted by the atmosphere on our body, same amount or equal amount of pressure is exerted from our body outwards. So both the pressure are equal, so they nullify each other. I hope you remember that we have discussed how force of the same amount, if comes in opposite direction, no movement take place and they nullify or cancel out each other. Same thing is happening here. The pressure exerted by the atmosphere on our body and the pressure from inside our body towards the outside is equal. That is why we do not feel this pressure. But if the pressure in our body decreases even by a little amount, then we will feel this atmospheric pressure and we may suffer various problems. Have you ever experienced while climbing a mountain or climbing down a mountain, your ears pop? You feel this pain and your ears pop. That is only because of this change in the atmospheric pressure. You see, if this is our earth, it has various layers of gases. These layers of gases which is enveloping our earth is known as atmosphere. And as we will go down the atmosphere towards the earth, here also the atmospheric pressure increases. So around here where we are living, around the biosphere, the atmospheric pressure is the highest. I hope you have understood all this chapter. Here we have discussed about the types of force, contact force like muscular and frictional force, non-contact force like magnetic force, electrostatic force and gravitational force. Then we have discussed pressure. We have discussed the unit of pressure, that is Pascal, and the formula to find out the value of force, area as well as pressure. Then pressure exerted by liquids and gases, how they exert pressure downwards as well as sideways, and the pressure in the liquid and gases increases as we go deep. Then we have also discussed about the atmospheric pressure, which is the pressure exerted by the air around us on us. So I hope you have understood this chapter properly. If you find any difficulties, go through your textbook and you will easily understand the things. For now, thank you.